It doesn't matter how successful you are today because life can change at any moment. If you don't believe me, look no further than the Ace family. They're a family that got famous on YouTube and now have almost 20 million subscribers. And about a year ago, I made a YouTube and a TikTok talking about how smart they were doing all these different business ventures and using their personal brand. Well, as it turns out, I look pretty dumb for making that video because all the business ventures I was praising have gone up in flames. And to make matters worse, they are getting foreclosed on their $10 million house. So in this video, I want to go over what we can learn from this story and how greed can bring down any empire. If you're new to my channel, my name's Ryan Pineda. I'm a real estate investor here in Las Vegas. I've flipped hundreds of homes, I've bought hundreds of rental properties, and I own multiple businesses that are doing millions a year in revenue. If you want to learn about how those businesses can help you, go to ryanpineda.com for a free consultation. Now, the first time I had ever heard of the Ace family was from my wife, Mindy. Long before I had ever started making YouTube videos as a career, Mindy was watching YouTube videos for years. And one of her favorite channels to watch was the Ace family. Now, I never really paid attention all those years that she was watching them, but I started to take notice when I started making YouTube videos and studying them. And it was from studying them that I realized that they were doing some pretty cool things with their brand as far as businesses go. On the initial video, I talked about something they created called the Ace Club. And with the Ace Club, they were charging $20 a month, and I figured that if they could just get 1% of their following to pay this $20 a month, then they could potentially be making $50 million a year just from that one business. And I actually went and bought into the Ace Club just to see what it was all about. And it seemed like a pretty cool thing, but soon people started to point out that it was really just a ripoff of Logan Paul's Maverick Club. And what I soon found out after releasing that video is that there was one mastermind behind both of those, which was a guy named Chase Hero. And since then, I've had the pleasure to actually talk to Chase and pick his brain. But long story short, the Ace family got greedy when it came to the Ace Club. They could have made millions of dollars allowing Chase to do it for them, but in turn, they decided that they wanted to try and do it themselves. And now there's an ongoing lawsuit with the whole deal, but nonetheless, the Ace Club does not exist anymore. A potential $50 million a year recurring revenue business is down the drain because they tried to do it themselves and they didn't want to have a business partner. Seems pretty stupid to me. If I had a business with that kind of potential, I would not care if I had a business partner or not, especially if they were the ones giving me the idea and walking me through it step by step. Now, as I saw this play out, I said, look, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. There could just have been something that happened. Who knows? Maybe it's just a one-off event. But as you'll see, this is not a one-off event. This is actually a continued pattern by the Ace family to just be terrible business partners. The next big business endeavor that they went into was social gloves. Now, you may have seen this being promoted as the YouTuber versus TikToker fight.
Been in probably over 40 street fights.
The main attraction was going to be Austin McBroom, which is the husband of the Ace family, and Bryce Hall, which is one of the most famous TikTokers. And as I watched this fight get promoted, I thought that, once again, this is a great idea. There is a huge demand for celebrity or influencer boxing. Jake and Logan Paul are proving this themselves. Jake is taking the boxing world by storm, and he's probably the most talked about boxer right now. And Logan recently fought Floyd Mayweather and made a lot of money. And so to see Austin have this idea to go do social gloves made a lot of sense. He could use his own star power to draw traffic, but he's also using other YouTubers and other TikTokers to draw traffic as well. Well, as he was doing this, I started to hear rumors that the fight wasn't going to happen. And the more I started to hear some things behind the scenes from other people involved with the fight, the more I realized that Austin doesn't know what he's doing. And my good friend Spencer Cornelia actually did an amazing breakdown of what went wrong with this event. He has multiple videos detailing all of the different lawsuits that are going on against Austin because he did not pay out any of the fighters from the event. Now, you might be asking, how does an event that is this big and supposedly this successful not get any fighters paid? Well, according to Spencer's research, Austin did not listen to any of the advice from any of the companies that were advising him. They told him he needed to do better marketing strategies, that just organic traffic from them alone would not be enough. But Austin chose not to listen and said that he was going to draw all of the traffic they needed to make all these millions of dollars. And it just didn't happen, and I would venture to guess that the event probably didn't even break even, which is why they can't pay any of the fighters. I don't know if this one's a story of Austin being greedy like the other one, or more so of Austin just being an arrogant businessman and overestimating his reach. But nonetheless, Social Gloves could have been enormous, much like the Ace Club, and now it's mired in lawsuits, litigation, and it has been a tremendous flop. But that one might not have been the biggest flop of what's happened in business for them. Catherine, who is Austin's wife, started a company called 1212 Gateway. And with this company, they had the potential to do 9 figures, potentially even more. And you don't need to look any further than Rihanna or Kylie Jenner to see what's possible if you start a cosmetic company with a lot of influence. And Catherine had all of the pieces in order to do that. Once again, my buddy Spencer did a great job looking into what was going on with 1212 Gateway, and what he found was they made over $1 million in sales in just the first 30 minutes of launching the company. And in 2021, they were on pace to do almost $60 million in sales, which would have been their first full year. But much like the other companies, they screwed it up. Catherine had over 60% ownership in this company, while another company was the one managing all of the back end. And at some point during all of this great success, she decided that she didn't want that other company anymore. And so according to the lawsuit, she somewhat staged a coup and locked out all of the partners from all of the accounts. She decided to go get her own warehouse and try to distribute the products herself. Well, you can probably imagine how this ended up going down. For one, there's now a lawsuit because she's pretty much trying to take over the company and kick her partners out. But 2, they've lost a lot of customers because she was not able to fulfill on the products like they were doing before when they were successful and she had a professional company doing it. And now who knows what's going to happen with that company. Now the craziest part about all of this is they had potentially 3 9-figure companies in less than a year. They could have expanded the Ace Club into being something crazy. Social Gloves could have been an enormous boxing company for influencers. But then 1212 Gateway had the most promise out of all of them, and they still could not figure out how to just keep it going. And it's really sad to see because coming up with a great business idea is not easy. And I do believe that all 3 of these were tremendous business ideas with all of the components to succeed. They had the family that could draw traffic, that had the fans, and that could market like crazy. And they had experienced partners who could run operations in the day-to-day, and they really wouldn't have to do anything other than just promote. This is very similar to how I run my businesses now. All of them have great operators and great partners, and really, I just get to promote and be the face of them. And in turn, we get to make a lot of money because we're all doing what we're supposed to do. But I'll tell you, I'm not over here trying to get rid of my partners because we're having too much success and I feel like I'm more important. And that's exactly the mistake the Ace family has made. They figured that they could do this without their partners and there's no reason that they should be giving up equity. And it is that greed that has brought them down and destroyed these companies from reaching their potential. And at this point, if you want to partner with them on a potential business, you're probably not the smartest person. But nonetheless, all of this greed and mismanagement of such tremendous businesses has now caused them to get foreclosed on their dream home. Many of you who follow me know I've talked about hard money loans a lot, which is what they had on their home. My friend Spencer did a deep dive and used Batch Leads to go look up who the lien holder was on their home. And Batch Leads is the same software that we use to go find great real estate deals. And if you want to get a special deal on signing up for their systems, you can go to batchleads.io and use the promo code HOMERUN. But anyways, he looked it up and saw that 5 Arch had a loan for $9 million for the house. And I know a lot of friends who have used 5 Arch, and so I know that that's an extremely high interest loan that is short term. But on top of that, they ended up getting another loan for $1 million a couple of days after. What I believe that loan was similar to what I do on House Flip. We go get a hard money loan for 90% of it, and then we go get another loan for the remaining 10% of it. I call this loan the gap. And this is how I get into house flips for no money out of my own pocket. And my belief is that this second loan was a private investor, someone that they knew, that was willing to fund them, not because their house was a great deal by any means, but because they knew they had so much money coming in with all these great business opportunities that paying it back wasn't going to be tough. Well, now both of those lenders are about to lose a lot of money because I don't know how much that house is worth, but nobody wanted to go bid on it at auction, and now it's been foreclosed on. At this point, I don't really know how it's going to play out for them, but the thought of them being evicted after having 3 businesses in the last year that had so much potential is kind of mind-boggling. And it just reminds me that no matter how successful you are in business or in social media or how much fame you have, it can all crumble down in an instant. And that's why I'm super cautious of how I spend my money and what I want to get into and how I treat people and how I act ethically. Because I know if I do one wrong thing, it has the potential to jeopardize everything I've worked so hard to create. And so I'm not making this video to hate on the Ace family or to push them down, because I know they're going through a lot of things right now. But it's really just to show how quickly things can change no matter how much success you've had. And if I had to guess what's gonna happen with them, I'm almost certain that they're gonna declare bankruptcy. They've got too many lawsuits and too many debts, and I just don't see any other way that they're gonna get out of it. And my hope is that they learn from these lessons as well, and they become more humble going forward. But anyways, if you like this video, do me a big favor and hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.